Hello and welcome to our TPW No Escape Chamber press conference and announcements here. As always, I am Pepperjack, and what an amazing TPW No Escape pay-per-view. The pay-per-view almost towards extravaganza. We have one more stop, and that's the new talent pay-per-view, which is Rising Sun. Is in live in Japan. But tonight we have a lot of questions to be answered. Part of them will be answered by the Ram, and then the rest will be answered by our respective champions who became champions tonight. We'll hear from them as well. But let's kick it off with Ram talking a little bit about the landscape of TPW now. Hello, Ram, and it's been quite a night here tonight, hasn't it? An amazing pay-per-view, as always. Even a bigger pay-per-view with the two mystery opponents you said would be involved in that main title chamber. But I'll give it to you, Ram, to explain everything. And hopefully we'll hear from our new champions here tonight. Well, thank you, Pepperjack. Indeed, thank you for everything that you do. And a big thank you to the fans here in TPW, the ones watching live here as well on Twitch. Just an amazing pay-per-view, like Pepperjack has mentioned. We did not see that we had a new champion crowned. Well, a bunch of new champions crowned here tonight. And unexpected returns and landscapes changing definitely now that we know the new champions heading into extravaganza. But I'm only going to explain a little bit because we're going to hear from those champions here tonight. But I just can't believe it. Like all the returns we had tonight. And that was involving Destroyer coming back, the world title on the line in that last chamber match. We did not expect him to come back so early. He didn't tell me anything. This was a complete surprise. And once they announced that it was going to be for the world title, it was definitely the landscape changed in that chamber match. You definitely saw a lot of fight between all the competitors involved. And even in the women's division chamber, the number one contendership chamber, Rose said to me, my wife, she said, before anything happened here tonight, I want to make sure that the new superstars get as much time in that chamber as possible. And that's why she stood back and let them fight most of the match. Not because she, couldn't fight back, she could. She wanted to give opportunities, just as I do, to the new superstars that are rising here in TPW. But yeah, it's just an amazing night here tonight. We crowned all new champions almost in every chamber that involved a championship. So here tonight, we'll hear from those new champions after this, because it won't be too much longer for me to be talking. I don't want to take up the champions' time to talk here tonight. So we'll hear first from the away show champion, who is AJ Styles, who won the championship here tonight in the away show title chamber. We'll see what he has planned and who he will face. Heading into Extravaganza, we still don't know what the rematch clause is on Ladies Man, if he'll use it right away. We'll hear from him as well as Baron Corbin and, all that stuff. So let's get right to it. We'll hear from first the new away show champion, AJ Styles, here tonight. Well, indeed, let's hear from AJ Styles, and he'll be involved in the interview here tonight. AJ, you made a big mark here in TPW. We did not expect you to walk in and walk out the new away show champion, and you're bringing it to WWE. How do you feel? What are your plans in Extravaganza now that you'll be a part of it as the away show champion? Well, honestly, Pepperjack, no one saw that I would be winning that chamber. I didn't even think I would walk out the victor. There's so many good competitors. I gotta give a shout out to all of them that competed in there. There's Ladies Man, Tyler Cool, Stelio, Perseus, and Francois. They're all good competitors. Especially the veterans, because you had Ladies Man, who was the champion, a veteran, soon to be Hall of Famer in the future. You had Tyler Cool, who's also a veteran in that match, as well as Perseus, who was going to be inducted this year in the Hall of Fame. So no weak competitors at all that I faced in that chamber. But yeah, that's just how it turned out. Is I walked out as champion. That's how it happens sometimes. You never know who's gonna walk out in the chamber. It's a grueling match. It takes a lot of energy out of you, and definitely is gonna be a big opportunity for me to possibly face Ladies Man in a rematch clause. I'll have to talk with him, I guess, after this to see if he is gonna invoke it. I think he is gonna have an interview though, right after me, because he wants to talk about if he's gonna do the rematch clause or not right away, or if he's gonna save it for another time. But yeah, I would definitely feel great. It'll definitely be different for me bringing the title to WWE. In the meantime, I will be competing in TPW more, that I'm the away show champion. So not only the WWE collab, but now as the champion, I have to be a fighting champion, I will be at all the away shows until Extravaganza. I'll be competing in those matches. I'm not sure if I'm going to be putting my title on the line all the time, but I will be a fighting champion and a fighting superstar in TPW until Extravaganza. We'll see how it goes and who my challenger will be. We'll see. Well, thank you for being here and doing this interview, AJ. We appreciate everything you did here tonight and everything you do. And now we're going to hear from Ladies Man, who ended up winning losing his championship, sorry. And he'll be talking to the TPW fans here tonight about what his plans are as Extravaganza comes around the corner, and now he's no longer the champion, but he does have a rematch clause for the title. We'll see what Ladies Man has to say about, um, well, right now, what he has to say and getting a rematch clause. Well, honestly, Pepperjack, it's very different when you lose the championship. It is. And I don't want to spoil my opportunity to be an extravaganza because it's rare that you get a chance to be a part of the biggest event of the year. So I will invoke my rematch clause against the current champion AJ Styles at Extravaganza. That will be the match at Extravaganza. Um, I just wanted to come out here and say that. I don't want to say anything else. Obviously, I lost my opportunity to be champion at Extravaganza, but that doesn't mean I won't fight back for my title to regain it at Extravaganza against AJ Styles. Thank you. Oh, thank you, ladies, man, for those words. We're gonna continue on to our next new champion, which is Jerry Goodman. He won the championship, the home title championship in the home title chamber. We'll hear from Jerry right now and see how he feels as the new home title champion. Jerry, you come a long way since debuting here in TPW. You debuted in that team battle match with Shibata against the Faces, and since then you've been pretty dominant. You won the qualifying match to be a part of the chamber, and you won the home title chamber. No one thought that you would win against all these other people in the home title chamber match. You had pretty stacked individuals. You had the former champion Baron Corbin. You had Dirty Dom from WWE. You had Yi, All-Star, who's a veteran in the company, as well as Cayenne, who is a future soon-to-be Hall of Famer. How do you feel about winning? Especially, I think the last person in there was Cayenne. Well, it was a great opportunity, man. You can't expect anything less to be part of TPW and win your first championship. That's really great. And as AJ said before, I will be a fighting champion. I will put the title on the line more, unlike Corbin did. He always tried to avoid being in a title match, which never is good as to be as champion. You need to fight, and that's what it's all about. So I plan to be again a fighting champion and to definitely do what I can to retain my championship here tonight. Oh well, sorry, not here tonight. I mean on the home show when it comes next week. Sorry. No, no worries, Jerry. It's your first interview in a while, and obviously it's your first interview as a new champion. It's gonna be a lot of nerves for you. Um, is there anything else you want to add to say to the TPW fans before we let you go back to your locker room and get going? Just one other thing, guys. Always keep in mind, even when you're the smallest person out there, you can find a way to be on top and to be the victor in most things if you put your mind and heart to it. So that's all I gotta say with that. Thank you for this time, and I give this credit to winning the championship to all my fans here in TPW. Thank you. Well, thank you, Jerry, for being a part of that chamber and winning it as a surprise to everybody, but definitely a huge win nonetheless. And we also are going to hear from Baron to see if he's actually going to invoke his rematch clause at Extravaganza against Jerry, or if he's just going to keep it for another time. We'll hear from Baron Corbin right now for that. If that big opportunity's going to be set here. Baron, we know it was a big upset for you losing the championship, especially on the day that Destroyer came back in that big world title chamber. So he came back and not in a good mood as Destroyer. Obviously, he'll explain more later in the interviews, but the question being, are you going to you're going to invoke your rematch clause at Extravaganza, or are you going to save it for another day? Honestly, Pepperjack, I'm not in the mood to be discussing this, but I have to because it's a part of my job and it's a part of my contract to talk about these things if they happen as champion or former champion. But I'm going to probably save my opportunity for another time. I'm not going to waste it at Extravaganza because it's the biggest stage of them all in TPW. It's a championship opportunity that I can have anytime I want. So I'm not going to squander it and, waste it at Extravaganza. I'm going to keep it for another time, definitely. So thank you for your time, Pepperjack. Well, thank you, Baron, for being honest with us. And obviously, you're a smart individual. You're not going to pick like a wrong time to invoke your rematch clause for the title. So either way, we hear from our other new champion, who is surprisingly Razor. He came back and did what he said he was gonna do, and that's dethrone Destroyer. We didn't expect him or Destroyer to come back so soon at the chamber, but they both came back at the same time. We're gonna hear from Razor right now and see what he has to say. Razor, you came back in a big way to win your championship back. You lost in that triple threat with Destroyer. We all knew that you would come back someday and get your championship back, but we didn't expect it to be so soon, knowing that you got injured by Destroyer himself in that after that title picture. It took you out for almost a whole year, but you came back tonight and regained your world title. How do you feel about retaining your championship? I mean, winning your championship and being the new champion here. And what are your goals heading into Extravaganza? Well, Pepperjack, it's a hard life here in TPW. You never know what will happen. Honestly, that's what I proved here tonight against Destroyer at the end of this chamber. I knocked out Jake, even though he speared me through the chamber. and tried his best to keep his precious leader as champion, but it didn't work out, did it? I walked out the new world champion here tonight, and that's how it's going to remain. I'm not going to lose against Shibata. So his little dream about being the new world champion has come to an abrupt end, especially now that he has to face me at Extravaganza. I don't know what Destroyer's planning on doing, if he's going to invoke his rematch clause, or if he's gonna keep it like Baron did. It doesn't matter. It could even be next week that he faces me for the title. I'm gonna walk out the same, still the world champion. It doesn't matter if it's Destroyer or Jake or whoever. I'm going to keep my championship, and I will walk out of Extravaganza and still the world champion. Thank you, Pepperjack. Well, thank you, Razor, for saying those words, and we all know you're a dominant superstar and definitely will be a dominant world champion as you were before. We're gonna hear from now our former champion, who is Destroyer, who lost the championship here tonight. I shouldn't be laughing at that, but you know, his arrogance has caught up to him definitely, and has lost his championship abruptly. Destroyer, I can't help but laugh because you said you would be the longest reigning champion. You were so close. If you just would have kept your ego in check and not walked into this chamber for the title on the line, you would have still been champion, and maybe even walked into night 2 either way as the longest reigning TPW champion. And now you lost it to Razor. You lost that opportunity of being the longest reigning champion. Honestly, what do you have to say for yourself here tonight? Let me tell you something. First of all, shut up, Pepperjack. You don't know what you're talking about. You're just a ring announcer. You never have wrestled. Only once in your career you wrestled, and that was against Hans, and you lost. So don't even talk about that. Second, it doesn't matter what you say, because I still have my rematch clause for the championship. And Jake, you tried your best, and that's what matters, to try to keep me as champion, and I keep that in mind. Especially you being the leader for how long you did while I was gone. That was very helpful for the faces to have that leadership role while I was gone. Honestly, I don't know yet what I want to do with my rematch clause, because obviously Razor wants to face Shibata. I'm not going to deprive him of that. But also I want to make it impossible for him to win at Extravaganza. So what I'm going to do is this. Come Extravaganza, I will decide if I want to face him at night 1 for the championship or not, and he'll have to face 2 nights in a row for his championship if he wants to regain it and keep it. And it doesn't matter what the Ram says because I have that privilege to be with my rematch clause. So we'll see how it goes more towards extravaganza if I want to keep that opportunity there or use it at another time. And I'm gonna keep it a secret till then. And we'll talk more about this on the home show when I'm back on that first night back on the home show. We'll talk more about this. For now, I'll keep it simple and short, and that's all I wanted to talk about. Well, thank you, Destroyer, for saying those things and explaining to us what you're going to say in the home show. Definitely some big words from our former champion, Destroyer. And we've heard from pretty much everybody. Former champions, the current champions. And we know the winner of the women's division chamber was Rose. To close out those statements will be the Ram again to close off these statements here tonight in the TPW press conference here in the announcements of the TPW No Escape Chamber. We hear from the Ram right now. Take it away, Ram, with the closing statements. Thank you, Pepper Jack, for that, and thank you, TPW fans, again as well for your loyal viewership. You know, it's not easy. Again, waking up at the time that you do and sticking it out as long as you did for the things that happened, you know. And it was a long night, but it was a good night. We figured out comebacks, we figured out new champions, you know, a new landscape in TPW, definitely, with new champions and new number one contenders as well for the championships. So most definitely it is a great sight to see. Those people get their flowers, as you should say. New champions and old champions becoming champions again, as in Razor, and new champions Jerry Goodman and AJ Styles as the away show champion and the home champion. Heading more into now, we pass the chamber, we head into TPW Rising Sun, which is our next championship, next pay-per-view, new talent pay-per-view for the new talent superstars. Obviously, I forgot about Animal and British Punk. They do have championship opportunities against Death for his championship at that pay-per-view. They earned it a long time ago that they were supposed to face whoever's champion by the pay-per-view before Extravaganza. So for that, we are going to keep that championship match. It's only fair to them that they waited this long to have that title opportunity against Death. But yeah, so that's going to be one of the matches, as well as we know Kayla, the woman's new talent champion, going to face Dark Sunshine at that pay-per-view as well. And then we have, small matches forming here and there for that pay-per-view. But after that, we officially are inches away from Extravaganza, the biggest event of the year. And we have our lineup already set. We just don't want to announce it right here. We do know for now the mid-Carter title will be on the line. The King and Freddie one-on-one. We know that's already set because he won the Battle Royal pay-per-view and he's going to face him at Extravaganza. The King taking a break, obviously. Probably not going to be back until Extravaganza, but you never know. After tonight, it could be different. He could come back sooner. You never know. Either way, we do have the world title set. Most likely, it will be Razor one-on-one with Shibata. We still don't know if Destroyer is going to use his rematch clause on night one. So that'll be definitely something to keep in mind heading into Extravaganza as well. That's a big change in the lineup for Shibata to face Razor one-on-one for the title, if that's going to come to it. And yeah, all the other championship matches, the tag title, obviously matches are set. We have the Dudley Boys in a tag team turmoil match against the Faces, and we'll explain more of that heading into Extravaganza, but they'll be facing the Faces in that tag team turmoil matchup for the championship vacated tag team titles. A part of the WWE collab again. That's why the Dudley Boys were involved in that chamber. You'll see more on that in the YouTube channel with the matchups there. But yeah, and then that's everything involved there. And then we have more stuff to say more later on, more towards Rising Sun pay-per-view and afterwards. But we have said all we had to say in these interviews and these backstage announcements. So just again, a big shout out to the subscribers again. We mentioned them before, as well as the Twitch loyal viewers that view all the time on Twitch. The plugs are Twitch. The handle on there is ComicsR100. And YouTube, as always, is TPW. And you can find all the videos on there. And thank you again for watching here today. Again, this week we will not have any other TPW programming because we had just the pay-per-view today. And that would supplement all the other programming for this week. So it won't be until next week that we have like the home show and our normal programming heading into our next pay-per-view coming up, which is TPW Rising Sun, live from Japan. So thanks for tuning in today for the pay-per-view, and again, we'll see you again next week for more TPW programming. I'm the Ram, as always, and we're signing off here tonight.